Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete. Why? Why does a podcast generate leads? And I want to give you 3 strategies that will grow you. When you grow you can grow your business. See, there's 3 things. Leads, generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities. That's what we're all about. But let me go to why booking a podcast. A podcast is a digital asset. An asset is something that can make you money. You want to be creating assets. If you have no assets, you don't have a business. An asset could be a moving truck that you have in your business. It could be a book. It could be anything that operates without you. And it's something that has value to it. A moving company that doesn't have any moving vans doesn't have any assets. A person that does has assets. In your business, you are the one you want to promote. People buy from people. People buy from people. It's been proven by the virtue of social media. Social media personalized business. And when it personalized business, people buy from people. They don't buy from companies. You look at Elon Musk, he has probably a dozen, 15, 20 companies, whatever, how many, but you know of him. Tim Cook, you know of Tim Cook because he's the front person for Apple. You know of Brendon Burchard if you're into personal development, motivation, online courses, coaching. He's got many, many companies, but you know of him. Joe Rogan, lots of things, but you know of Joe. Oprah Winfrey, lots of companies. The one person you know, because you know her, is she's the front person for all her business. Everywhere you just have to think about people. People buy from people. And when you're out there promoting your company, you're missing opportunity because people can't connect with companies. Company doesn't necessarily have a personality, a story. There are a few exceptions, but not many. It's people. That's why we want to book you on a podcast because you are the story. You are the person that connects with people. And when you have that, you have an asset. So that's why we give you this for free, so we can show you the power of your story, the power of you. Come on our podcast. We have a podcast community. We have a podcast academy. We have a 12-week transformation where we create a digital asset, which is a magazine, which we put all your stories in it. You are on the cover. You become the key person of influence. You're a person that bringing the whole team together. So people buy from people. That's why we talk so much about Daniel Priestley's book, The Key Person of Influence, because it gets down to the 11, 7, 4. 11, I'm dyslexic. 7, 11, 4. 7 hours. 7 hours. Oops, let me go. Leaves, change lives. There we go. 7 hours. This is Robin Dunbar. He came up with the phrase. If you've listened to Daniel Priestley, you'll hear him talk about Robin Dunbar. 7 hours is what people need to get to know you, start to trust you, and like you. They have to consume, like Netflix, they have to binge if they need to, 7 hours of you. Could be a book. It could be a podcast, could be a workshop, could be assessment. All these things center around a podcast. So that's why it's so important. And then when you get to the 11 is buying signals, a 0 moment of truth, buying signals. People have to say, I'm interested give me more. When they're interested, that's a buying signal. And the buying signal could be a book, a podcast, a workshop, an assessment, a podcast. All these things give people the opportunity to raise their hand and say, I'm interested in knowing more. That's the change that we're seeing in the marketplace. You work on your being a key person of influence. You work on creating digital assets. Start with a podcast. That's why we want to show you the power of it. Your story is what people remember. When you put your story out there, people can connect with you. That's why we want you to come on our podcast, so we can showcase you, your story. And when we do that, you get an idea of the power of podcasting. And when you can get the power of podcasting and you see yourself on 4 different platforms, a magazine, a book, a podcast, an assessment, those are 4 different ones. The brain switches. They get to know you, like you, and trust you, because the brain doesn't know the difference between an analog, the physical world, and the digital world. We're in a world economy now. This podcast could be listened halfway across the world. That was never the case when we were in the Industrial Revolution, which was factories, which was working 40 years for a company. That doesn't happen anymore. People are more mobile. They're more gig economy, doing different things. So the market has changed. For you to change and understand that, come on our podcast. Be a guest. Let me highlight your story. You go to petekane.me, short assessment, gets me to know a little bit about you, and then I can showcase you on our podcast. So book a podcast, and let's get to know you and your story. Because you remember what we said at the beginning, people buy from people, and people buy from you, and your company is behind you. So highlight you, highlight your story. Be a person out there, a key person of influence. Learn the 7-11. Let me see if I can get it up here. I think I can. Yes, it is. Be up there and be what Daniel Priestley calls a key person of influence. Order his book. Order this book. Be the best business book you could order, because understanding how you need to position you are the magic, and anything's possible. And in the 5 Ps, or in the book, the 5 Ps are pitch, profile, product, presentation, and partnership. When you have those down, you have a recipe for success. And the magic is in you, and anything is possible. The magic is in you, and anything is possible.